This video is a replay of a trade I took today. Now, it probably goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. I am not a financial advisor, and trading entails risk. Just because I got these results today doesn't mean that I can get these every day, nor that you can. Remember, the entire premise of the investing project and the $1 million experiment is that I am not an expert, and yet I am learning how to do this. So for heaven's sake, don't just blindly copy me. Instead, find a mentor, someone who is an expert, and join their community. Pay for their mentorship. This approach has worked very well for me, and it likely will for you too. So use this video partly as education and partly as inspiration. After all, if I can learn this, you can too.
All right, so two trades or two sets of trades, I guess, today that I'm going to trade. I'm going to recount them in separate videos because one was good and one was bad, and I think they deserve their own context for the lesson. So what we're going to do here is we're starting with a fair bit of a sell-off in the YM. So if I look at this, let me zoom in on this a little bit. No, it's wrong. There. If we zoom in on this, you can see they've had quite a sell-off for the first 15 minutes or so on the YM, and so I'm looking for an opportunity to get in. So I actually put a long right at 49.44. She was 438 that I got in. Right there. That's where I got in. So let's go ahead and play this. Now, one of the things I've started doing recently is following along on the 1 minute candles. Let me pause this for a second. Following along on the 1 minute candles to place my stop so that I can lock in some value. However, in this instance, what I should have done was get up there to the 1 minute very quickly. But as you can see, the market moved very fast. And so before I could get up here to place my stop, it already retraced back. And so I just let it go. And I thought, hopefully it'll recover. And it never did. It just came back down and stopped me out. It had pulled up, I think, four points. So it stopped me out, and I had 4 contracts. So that was an $8 gain. It stopped me right out. I was very annoyed with that because I didn't think this was done. And the reason I didn't think it was done, by the way, is that there still seemed to be some upward pressure on the NQ and the ES. And I just thought there was more, felt like there was more. And so I got back in. And there's no particular good reason for getting back in. Like there was no setup particularly. I just said, this was a mistake. And I got back in. So I got back in at 49,452, which is almost exactly where this is right now. So I got right back in. And after having gotten back in, I then said, pay more attention, and followed the stop up on the 1 minute as I'm supposed to do. And so it ended up retracing almost the exact same move. Oh, and by the way, it's worth noting that, on a big move down, I'm only really expecting it to retrace 50%. It'd be nice if it made up the whole way, but 50% would be okay. And it did a little bit more than 50% on that first go round. In any event, letting this go here. Where's my stop? I'm now following it up on the 5 minute, trying to atone for earlier mistakes. And so it continued on, and I continued following that up, and it ended up going to be pretty much exactly the same level. In fact, I think what happened is right at this point, I'm going to put this here so I don't lose it. Right around this point is where I actually ended up getting stopped out. Went up a tiny bit further, came back, stopped me out. And so I ended up getting, after all, the same amount that I would have got if I had actually placed that trade, the stop correctly. And then it retraced fairly substantially. So that was actually, all things considered, great timing. It was the right move. I wish I had done it correctly the very first time, but I actually think I made slightly more doing it the second. Well, I don't know if I made more because I had to start a little bit further up. But that made another $168. So 84 points times 4 contracts. So between those little excursions there, I ended up with $176 on that trade, which is a pretty nice way to start the day on 4 contracts on the YM. Of course, that's only the first half. The second half was a complete abdication of any sense of intelligence or discipline, where I completely messed things up on the NQ, and I'll talk about that in the next video.